Hey, so welcome to today's session and welcome for those who haven't done yoga in a while. So as always, just take the time to listen to what feels best for your body. Every time we come to practice is always different, especially if you haven't practiced in a while. We're going to revisit one of my favourite older sequences that I probably don't bring in that much for the short sessions, but they're called Sun Salutations. So we're going to go through them slowly at the beginning and you just find the variation that feels right for you. And then once we get used to that, we'll start moving it into a flow. But as always, just take your time to practice within your own pace. I'm only here to guide you, so listen to what your body needs. I definitely recommend if you are wearing socks, and I'm going to do that as well, just take them off so that you don't slip through moving through the Sun Salutations. But we're just going to start standing however you like, within the middle, the top end of your mat, but just taking the feet to spread across the floor. Maybe shrug the shoulders up and draw them down. Feel free to close down the eyes if that feels comfortable, or you can keep them open. Just to take the time to arrive and just notice how you feel today. Physically within your body, mentally, emotionally. Remembering that every time we come to practice is always different. In yoga, we take the time to be in our body, knowing that every time we come to practice is different. So throughout our practice today, we'll just check in, where's the areas of tension. So even here, where are you finding that? Just feels a bit more effort to stand in this posture. Where there's effort or spaces of effortlessness in the body. And in this space, can we just start to connect to a deeper breath? So you might breathe into the belly, you might breathe into the chest. As you breathe out, you might just feel a gentle draw, a little contraction towards the belly button as you allow the air to flow out. The next inhale, you might deepen that to breathe into the belly, the chest, and then up into that collarbone, maybe that throat area space if it feels comfortable for you. And again, as you breathe out, feel that gentle draw towards your belly button. As we start to set our pretense, set our practice up with the deeper breaths in and deeper breaths out. And definitely breathing in and out slower may help us start to connect to our rest and digest part of our system. Starting to connect it to a slower rhythm of being, just so that we can be here with our body. And especially as we move into our transitions. So we'll just take a couple more breaths here. So finding your mountain pose. We'll take another breath in and out here. And then when you're ready to, you might just start to wriggle fingers and wriggle toes. It might feel good to just tip the head over to the right, come back through center, tip the head over to the left. Nice, you might start to bring that to movement with breath. So the next time we tip the head over, we'll take a deep breath in. And then exhale, we're going to roll the chin down and round. So look to the floor and then head tilts to the side. Deep breath in. And then exhale, roll the head down and round. So just moving within your own pace of breath, just moving in time to just notice this tension, space in your neck. Notice when you do that neck roll, do you have the tendency to squeeze those shoulders up? If you do, can we just make note of that? Maybe start to draw those shoulders away. Maybe you just don't tilt the head as much if you're finding it a bit unsafe for the neck. Nice. And then no rush. The next time the head rolls down, we'll just bring it up through center. Squeeze those shoulders up, draw those shoulders down. Nice. And then just start to step those feet out wider. Inhale, circle the arms up. And exhale, bringing them down. Inhale, circle arms up. And exhale, bring those hands down. And again. And bringing those hands down, nice. I want to start to bring that to move through the legs. I want to inhale up. And then exhale as we bring those arms down. You might just bring it down to bend. Inhale up. Exhale to bend. And then breathing out. Nice. Okay, bring yourself up. Shake out. And then we'll bring ourselves to the top end of our mats. So we're doing our Sun Salutations today. So just bring yourself to the top end of our mat. We'll take the first round slow, just get easing into our body, especially if our body feels a bit achy. And then we'll just start to pick up through the pace. So spreading those toes into the floor, palms facing forward, shoulders roll away from the ears. And again, as we find mountain pose, maybe just a different position of the room on your mat. Start to connect to those deep breaths in and out. Just so that you're on your long ways of your mat, so that you've got room to travel backwards. So if you need to, you can reposition your mat just so you can see. And then on our next inhale, we're going to breathe into the belly and into the chest. Maybe you hold, pause the breath there. And then exhale, we're going to bring the hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, we want to reach those arms up, making sure those fingertips are spread as we reach the arms up. Maybe it feels good to draw those hips forward as you take a back bend. If it doesn't, stay upright. And then exhale, we're going to reach forward and down. Hands onto the shins. If you need to, you bend the knees. And since it's our first one here, maybe you want to bend the knees and just bring it into a ragdoll. So really just allowing the arms, head, neck to feel heavy. Entirely up to you. Maybe if you're in that ragdoll, you'd like to just swing side to side or maybe shake the head yes and no. Nice, and just letting it all go here, hanging upside down. When you're ready to, we start to bend those knees a bit more, bringing the hands down, maybe fingertips onto the ground. Right foot is going to send back. We're going to lower the knees towards the ground. You might stay here with the hands framing the feet. You might place the hands onto the knees, maybe you bring the palms together. If it feels very uncomfortable for your back knee, maybe you wedge a cushion under there, or maybe you just lift that back knee up. Wherever you're at, just finding a space that works for you. Deep breath in, finding that length through the torso. Breathing out, maybe we're just staying there, maybe find a space to allow the hips to draw to the floor, still strong in that front leg. Nice. And then when you're ready to, we're just going to bring those hands down. We're going to either send that front leg back, or we tuck the back toes, lift the back knee to step through into plank position. If plank position feels too much, feel free to lower the knees. But we're spreading those fingertips into the floor, shoulders stack on top of wrist. And then we're going to take a deep breath in to prepare. And then exhale, gently rock forward, lower the knees down, bend the elbows in, lower down with control as much as you can. Slowly, slowly. Nice, and as you lower yourself onto the floor, we're onto the front on our belly. We're going to inhale, lift up, taking the hands off the ground so that we're using or finding our back muscles to lift here. So our practice is Sun Salutations today, but I want us to really connect to our body. Being in our body, noticing what muscles we're using, noticing how we're moving our body. Are we still breathing here? Nice, and then take your time, hands beside the chest, tuck the toes under, send the hips back. You have an option of child's pose, so you might extend the hands. Don't move your hips, don't touch the heel. Or maybe you send yourself up into your first downward dog. So again, just first round. We're just taking really slowly, getting into your body. How is it feeling today? Spreading those fingertips into the floor, whether you're in that child's pose or your downward dog. If you're in that downward dog, maybe you're pedaling the feet, so you're bringing one heel down at a time. Exploring what feels good in your body. Nice. And then whenever you're ready to, you might lower the knees down, or you might look forward. And then we're going to send that right foot forward, so it comes in between the hand, but slightly towards the right, just so that you're more balanced. And you might again find lunge with hands on the ground, hands on the knees, palms to the center. Maybe you're lifting that back knee up if it doesn't feel that comfortable. Aim to come into that stretch. That's it. Find the version that feels best for you, and then we're going to keep moving into that variation that feels best for you as we start to pick up the pace. Shoulders away. Maybe we're just breathing here. Can we still connect to those deep breaths in? Or maybe you can inhale, find that length, and as you breathe out, send the hips towards the ground. Nice. From there, we're going to bring those hands down. I'm going to tuck the back toes. So I send the hips back, so you place them way into the toes, and that can push you forward to step back into your forward fold. Yes. And then again. This tough round, maybe you just want to come back into ragdoll, really softening through being upside down in a fold. Or maybe you're more into your forward fold. If you are in that dangling ragdoll, maybe just check in, notice how that might feel different from when you first arrived. Can you let go of your head? And then we're going to bend those knees, push the feet into the floor. Inhale, we reach those fingertips forward and up. Maybe you arch back, and then exhale, hands down by the side. Nice. Reset mountain. Inhale. And start to pick up the pace. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Inhale, we reach up. Maybe you arch back. Nice. Exhale, folding forwards. Now we're going to bring those hands onto the shins. Taking a full breath in and out there. Bend those knees, hands to the ground. Inhale, left foot steps back this time. That's it. Finding your version of lunge straight away, whichever one that is. Nice. Breathing here. And then when you're ready, start to bring those hands down. Inhale, you either just take that foot back, or you tuck the back toes, lift the back knees, stepping through to plank position, whether that's on the knees or knees lifted. Shoulders stack on top of wrist. Next inhale to prepare. Exhale, you draw the weight forward and then lower down with control, so whether that's knees on the ground or you're planking down. Inhale, we lift up. I'm going to bring those hands beside the chest, elbows tucked in, lifting up into low cobra this time. So we're still keeping engaged with the back muscles. This time we're just adding that little pressure into the hands to lift up a little higher. Notice if you start to lift the chin up. Don't want to strain the neck, so keep the back of the neck long. Use your back to lift. And then exhale, hands push through the ground, send the hips back and up. You're up into your downward dog. If you don't fancy downward dog, take your child's pose. Find the variation that works for you today. And if you are in that downward dog, fingertips spread into the floor, really push through the ground so that the hips are really reaching away from the hands, reaching up towards the back of the room. Notice your shoulders there. Are they creeping up to the ears? Can we draw them out and down the back? Nice. And then we're looking forward. Feel free to lower the knees. Inhale. Left foot is stepping forward to find lunge on the other side. Take your time. Find the variation that feels best for you. Nice. And then from here, we took the back toes. Exhale, stepping forward, your forward fold. Bend those knees. Inhale, reach up. Maybe we arch back. Exhale, hands down by the side. And we'll take another round. Inhale, mountain. Slightly picking up the pace. Exhale, hands through to the center. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, folding forwards. Bend the knees. Inhale, can we send right foot back? Can we land that foot slow? So not just dumping it down. Think about controlling, landing and lower down. Find your lunge. Full breath in and out there. Take your time. Bring those hands down. Inhale. Find your way through to knee plank or plank. And then on your exhale, lower down, either knees, chest, chin, or plank down. Inhale, we lift through to cobra. Lifting up maybe a little higher if that feels good for you. You can slide those hands forward, aid in your cobra pose. Nice. And then on your exhale, send the hips back. Downward dog, or again, your child's pose. Spread the fingertips into the floor, push through the ground, send the hips to be the highest point. And those in downward dog, maybe how does it feel if we just start to become static in that downward dog? So as we inhale, push through the ground, send the hips up. And then exhale, that motion of drawing both heels towards the floor. Don't worry if they don't touch the ground. It's just the motion of guiding those legs there that's taking us into that downward dog. Nice, and then we look forward. Take your time. We start to step right foot forward to find our lunge. As you find your lunge, a full breath in and out here. And then tucking the back toes, stepping forward. Inhale, we reach up. Maybe we arch back. Exhale, hands down by the side. Nice. We've got our left side to do, but just take a moment in your mountain, or if you need to shake out the wrist, or just take a good shake out, feel free to do so. With our last round here, the intention, can we slow our breath down a little more? Can we make sure that we're embodying our practice so that even in our transitions, we're not just and then just trying to get to one pose to the next pose. Can we slow it down, and even when we're reaching, can we extend those fingertips out a bit more so that we're present in both the transition and the arrival of the pose. We're not just rushing through to make our way to lunge and make our way to downward dog. Hopefully that makes a bit more sense. So we're just going to arrive into mountain. Take a moment here in stillness. Check in with our breath. Can we consciously just take a deeper, slower breath in? And a longer breath out. Can we stay with this conscious, slower breath to allow us a bit longer to transition between each pose? Now we'll do that final round a bit slower, but now one time with the breath. So take your time, slow breath in, we're in mountain pose. Slow breath out, we bring the palms to the center of the chest. Inhale, we reach those fingertips forward and up, maybe you arch back. And then exhale, reach forward and down into forward fold. Bend the knees. Inhale, right foot steps back. Lower down. Next inhale, can we maybe hold the breath if that feels okay? Deep breath in. Maybe hold the breath, transition to plank. And then you exhale to lower down. Inhale, lift through to Cobra. Spreading those fingertips into the floor. Exhale, send the hips back to Downward Dog or your Child's Pose. We're going to take a full breath in and out there. Nice. And then we look forward. Inhale, we step left foot forward in between the hands. The next exhale, take your time. We step forward. And then inhale, we reach up. Maybe we arch back. And exhale, hands down by the side. Return to mountain. Feel free to close your eyes there. And just take a moment how that sun salutation may have felt different to the others. Maybe if you connected to that rhythm of breath. If you didn't, that's also okay. It just takes practice. Sometimes it's hard to remember which one's inhale and which one's exhale. Maybe checking in with your breath and the temperature of your body. How is your breath and body temperature feeling right now? How does your physical body feel? So when we first arrive, maybe your wrists feel a little bit more achy this time. Nice, and then take your time. I'm just going to start to bring ourselves down to the ground. So we're going to inhale again, reach those fingertips out wide, circle arms up. Exhale, reach those hands out wide, maybe one at a time if you're not going to stay. And then bend those knees, hands to the ground, step the feet back, lower the knees. Nice, I'm just going to take a wide-legged child's pose, so knees out wide, reach those hands forward, and if it feels okay, you might flip the palms up just to give your wrists a different space to stretch in. Breathing there, and if it doesn't feel too great to have the arms extended out, do feel free to bend them, bend the elbows. And no rush. When you're ready to, we lift the head up. We start to guide ourselves to come up, sit to the side, bring those legs forward. Nice, and from here I'm going to give you two options to bring ourselves down or before we come down. I'm going to give you the more passive option of a forward fold, so that might be knees bent, arms forward, palms face up, and just allowing the head to hang heavy there. You might take the more active option of stretching those legs out, if that feels okay for your hamstrings. Maybe hands just beside the thighs as you inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, see if you can fold through the hips. Rather than rounding and reaching forward, think of lifting and folding through the hips. So that might mean that you sit upright, you're feeling that through your hamstrings, maybe feeling that through your lower back, or maybe you might hook the big toes with your first two fingers. Just find what works for you. So whether you're in your more passive or more active forward fold. We're here for about 3 more breaths. There is no rush, just take your time. Again, can you maybe slow each breath in and out? And then take your time. Next inhale. We'll roll up. And then we're going to come to lie straight on our back if we can. And just let it all go. Coming into neutral. Just noticing how that may feel for your back as we've just folded. And then we're coming into a neutral release on the back. How does it feel? Where do you feel those sensations? And then when you're ready to, you might just stay there. You might want to pop extra layers on. Or you might want to hug the knees in, rock side to side. Maybe you want to take the feet out mat width, arms out, palms face up, and just gently bring the knees over to the right, guide them through to the center, and then over to the left. So up to you whether you want to rock side to side with feet on the ground or maybe hug those knees in. And then feel free to take any movement that feels good for your body. Feel free to also take the opportunity to put any extra layers on as well. But whenever you're ready to guide yourself to come into corpse pose shavasana. So that might be legs extended straight out, toes fall out to the side. That might be bending the knees, feet out mat width, knees together in constructive rest. So that's usually a more comfortable position if you have any discomfort in your lower back. Feel free to shuffle feet, hips, shoulders, rock the head side to side. As we come in to a sense of stillness or neutral space of rest. Receiving the benefits of our practice today. Finding that sense of stillness after movement. And how does your body feel here on the ground? Can we let go of legs and let go of the back? Let go of the shoulders. Maybe we take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, just letting go of the body. Noticing the points of contact that you have with the floor. Letting go of the head and maybe any tension held within the face. Allowing your body to come into that neutral rest. And there's no rush, but as you take your time to come back, maybe you deepen the breath. Maybe you start to notice the points of contact that you have with the floor. Feel free to start to move fingers and toes, move the head side to side. Take a big stretch whenever you're ready to. And then go ahead to collect those knees in and give yourself a big squeeze and a big hug. Inviting yourself back into your day. You might rock side to side, you might rock back and forth. However you like. And start to guide yourself up to seated with the palms at the center of the chest. Arriving back into your day. Hopefully feeling a bit more connected to your body. Closing our practice. We'll inhale, sweep and circle those arms up over the head, palms together. Exhale, hands down through center. Namaste. Welcome back and thank you for joining. Bye.